Hello and welcome to this Java video where I shall be showing you and basically telling you how method arguments and return types work. So what we've done here from this previous example with the employee class, what we created earlier on. Don't worry if you haven't created this, I'm just going to basically tell you how arguments and parameters work. So what parameters are, basically they just refer to the list of variables in a method declaration. So if we go ahead and look at, well, this is a constructor, but if we had say like public void, this is my method, int1, int2, what we got here is just we've got two parameters, and then if we called this or initialize this particular method, saying here, what we would be doing then is we would be passing in two arguments, as we kind of do here for the employee when we're passing in arguments. So basically when we invoke a method, the arguments must match the declaration parameters. So if we did call this method, we have to send in two ints or else it would not work. So we have to match the type and the order. So yeah, that's parameters, and then these are arguments when we're sending in like data. You can use any type, well, you can use any data type for this, for a parameter of a method or a constructor. So this includes stuff like doubles, floats, integers, reference data types as well, actually, such as objects or arrays. Primitive arguments, so when it comes to ints and doubles, these are passed into the method by value, and that's something I want to talk about in the next video, so I'm going to be talking more about pass by value, so be sure to watch that, it's an interesting topic. Reference data types such as objects are passed into methods by value also. This means that when that particular method returns, the passed in reference still references the same object as before. However, the values of the object fields can be changed in the method if they have proper access level. So yeah, that's kind of how it works. We can also use this really interesting methodology where if we want to have numerous amounts of arguments and we don't want to list them all in there, we can use an arbitrary number of arguments, and we call it var args basically. So to use var args, you have to follow the last type of the parameter. So what we could do here is, let's get rid of these. Let's get rid of them. So the way to actually do this is, say we want to pass in, I don't know, multiple arguments that we must pass in, and we just got to a point where we just basically want to have as many as possible. So the method, can be called with as many parameters as possible, including none. So you could do something like object and then 3 dots. Even though it's asking for an identifier, basically what's happening is, well, I'm just going to show you how it works. We've got object and arguments, which is pretty cool. We can pass in, like I said, as many as possible, or even just none at this particular point. So you see that, like, with this particular method, it's kind of treated like an array. So the method can be either called with an array or a sequence of arguments, which is pretty neat. The code inside the method body, which we don't have in it at the minute, will treat the parameter as an array in either case, so just keep that in mind. So yeah, that's method arguments and return types. So yeah, when we're returning stuff like here, well, actually no, we're setting here, but when you're returning stuff here as well, generally, let's do something like public int test, and it should give me an error, which is good. Missing return statement. We have to give it a return statement of the type that we've got here. So just keep that in mind. That's a very simple thing, just a return type. So yeah, thanks for taking time to watch this video. Hopefully that was concise and straight to the point, and I shall see you in the next one.